Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. I want to make a quick tutorial on how to contribute to our website. The idea now is that we populate this website with short tutorials or long tutorials, both from the specific packages and ideas mixing them. The tutorial is not limited to like a new thing. It can be just an application, blog post. The current tutorials are here. There are only 4 right now. I also want to move all tutorials from the package pages to the website. One of the main reasons to do that is that a person going through our tutorials will eventually reach this page and they will see that we have a lot of other things. So they might migrate to this, to our JSO packages. So the idea is to get users, contributors, and maintainers to our packages. Okay, so let's contribute. You go to the contributing page. Let me zoom in a bit. So you can read this calmly later. The idea here is that you can follow the template repo. In the template repo, you can just use this template. And then I already have access to JSO docs, but since you won't have access, by default, you can create a tutorial on your account. And as soon as you find one of us available, you can say that you're going to transfer the repo and we can give you access. Remember that if you transfer the repo to JSO docs, you lose access because you don't have access to organization anymore. So you have to transfer and then ask for access. So I'm going to create a simple tutorial. I was thinking about something earlier, which is understanding the server output. I'm not going to put it on my personal page. I'm going to put on JSO docs. You can leave it private, but we're going to have it public because, right? User the template. There's very little that you need to know. And while it's refreshing, we're going to look at the README. Oh, it's already here. We're going to look at the README of the template. And the README essentially explain how you can get things going. So the first thing that we want is to change the GitHub pages. Actually, there is no GH page right now because it's building. So we wait for the first build. It has built the build and deploy. After it builds and deploy, we can look at the GitHub pages and find the GH page and save. After saving it, it's gonna build another thing, which is the page build. There is a difference. The build and deploy is our GitHub workflow. The pages build deployment is an internal GitHub thing that takes your GH page branch and put it, I don't know where to put it, but it's online. And where it's gonna go on this thing. In my case, since I'm using JSO docs, this thing, JSO.github/. Okay. If you are building on we are waiting the build, okay, don't worry. Okay, now the GH pages has built and I update and this is what's happening. This is the template. So the template built on my new tutorial, which still has nothing. You can see a few examples. So this has ran online, okay, A equals ran. This has run online and this plot has also run online. It's working. It's working, okay? It should work. There is a template running frequently. So we are paying attention to see if things work. If it stops working, let me know. By the way, be aware that if you are building this under your personal user, you can't see this online because the paths are not hard-coded. So you're gonna see a broken page, essentially something without the CSS right here. Something like if I came here and broke this. Okay, you're gonna see something like this. You're gonna see the comments are running and you're not gonna see highlights. So this is also broken. But you're gonna see probably everything else. You can't see the styles, you can see the highlighting, but you should be able to see your plot and you should be able to see the plots, maybe not, but you should be able to see your if the commands ran. Fine. So how can you actually run this? What do you have to change to have a working tutorial? You have to change these two files, index.md, okay? Index.md has essentially nothing, the template name, understanding, whatever, and the text, which I recommend you add some, because I don't know what I'm gonna do in the future, so it might be useful. Output, status, and I don't know, the author. These will not be processed, so just it's gonna add a by. So by Abel Solicicada, and you can write this. It's not LaTeX, okay? Save. In my situation, I'm gonna commit this directly to main, and you can do this. It's your package, your website, okay, your blog post. And the second file that you have to edit is the index.jl, and this is the main one. This is using literate. You can't see the changes. There is nothing to preview. Of course, there are just changes, so it will show nothing. So how does literate work? The comments will be parsed as markdown, and the comments will be parsed as comments. Here is how you use images. You have to save them under this place, just underline site/assets, and name of your file, and you have to use this strange command. Don't worry, template's there for you to follow. So here I can, for instance, just say understanding, blah, blah, blah. And I'm probably gonna remove most of this. I'm gonna use Solver Core, and I'm gonna talk about Solver Core statuses. So you can use multi-line command, which is very helpful for most of the cases, like this, for instance. It's good to understand the output. Okay, and eventually I'm gonna update. When I saved, it went here to the commit. That's why it jumped. That's it. It's not gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna commit it now, and it's not gonna work for one important reason, and the reason is I don't have Solver Core in Project Toml. I need to add the Solver Core to Project Toml, and that's the main hindrance that you're gonna find when developing fully online. If you just want to write things here, it's reasonable enough, and you can build, and it's probably gonna work on your personal repository. So there's mostly no reason for you to go to clone this and run locally. This is the main one. How can you bypass that? Easy as well. So we have already committed this. How can you bypass the Solver Core? Well, you want Solver Core, you go to Project Toml, and you need to add Solver Core here. So I'm not using plots anymore, for instance. And so I can go find Solver Core, or I can look for JSO Solvers, which uses Solver Core. I look at the Project Toml, and I copy this line. So here we have Solver Core, and Solver Core is gonna be fixed. Also, another thing, the dependencies are not like this one, which has more than one. We're gonna fix the dependencies to the latest one, unless it's not working. And if it's not working, then we also know something's wrong and we should be fixing it. Compat helper is building and daily, I believe, maybe weekly, to make sure that we are using the latest version. If for some reason you can't use the latest version, then there's some package that we need to update. So here is I updating Project Toml. Everything I did was online. If you see the actions, the page build that I did before this one is building. I think it stopped because of the new one. No, actually this one is the GitHub one. So this is the one we just built. One thing as well, remember, if you have some error in your code, sometimes, depends on the type of the error, but frequently it does not say that you have an error in your build. It appears as an error, okay? So for instance, if you go online right now, maybe we will see refresh. So here it is, it's saying error. The build itself is passing, so the GitHub action is fine, but the website is broken, so we have to manually verify that everything is working according to plan. Now finally has built the latest version. I'm gonna see the updated version, holding Ctrl to refresh, and you can see here that it ran that command and the result is here. Also notice that the badge indicating which version of Solver Core appears. All packages are all our packages will appear with the color. I haven't listed all of our packages. If you have used the JSO package and it's not being colored, there is some place that needs to be updated. Let me know. It's in the main page. I don't want to bother you with that. Okay, so this is the first part of our tutorial. If you want to just go quick, build something, try to make it work, that's fine. What if you don't want to build any of the web stuff, but you still want to make sure that your code is working without having to wait for the GitHub action? Also easy, you can just clone and run the script because it's literate. So here I am, I just cloned this. Let me full screen this. I just cloned the repository. First thing, I'm gonna open a Julia, Alt-J-O. My current environment doesn't have Julia. I changed this. Now it is in the correct place. I can activate here as well. And what I told you, how do you make sure that your index is working? Easy, you run it, because literate, that means that it is a file, it is a script. So you can just run the file. Okay, I have activated it. So I can include, I have to instantiate. Of course, don't forget to instantiate. This might take a while. Now that I have instantiated it, I can include the file index.json. It's gonna run exactly those commands. I can see that everything is working as expected. I might have to peruse through the whole file to make sure that there is no error, and I might not be able to see the output. There should be a way to use literate directly and see if it's working. I'm not going to go into that because I think it's more work. Okay, and that's part 1+, where you can make sure that things are working before you push. Since you are here in the environment, you can add Solver Core directly and set the compact version directly. So cloning it is usually a good idea. Okay, next, let's do the whole thing to make sure that Franklin is working. We have to instantiate, done. We have to get the dependencies. So I'm opening a new terminal. I get dependencies, jso.github.io, it's downloaded, and all these grayed out packages are included. The most important ones are the layout, libs, and sass, which are going to define the style. And these two files here, utils.jl and config.md. You don't need to touch any of those. Actually, you can't touch them, because if you touch them and change anything, it's not gonna be committed. And if you commit these files, you're gonna be breaking some other thing. You should not commit them, and they are in the git ignore for that reason. Install npm. I don't know how. It's your Linux, Mac, or Windows, whatever it is. Install npm, and then you run npm install. So the other thing that was downloaded is the package.json, which is something for npm. npm is something about like node package manager, maybe, probably. And it installed what we needed. And we needed Bulma, which is the CSS framework, and node SAS, which is what's compiling this file here. And what you need to run is this npm css build or the watch. Run css build. You only need to run the watch if you're playing with the CSS, which you're probably not. That's it. After this is done, you can use Franklin. Franklin is going to precompile, of course, the first time, it takes a while, and you can just serve afterwards, okay? Let's wait a bit. And that's it. Now we serve. First time also takes a while, especially if you're using any packages. Okay, that's it. It was 20 seconds. I can go now to localhost 8000, and this is exactly what I had online. These links will be broken. This first one will work, and it will take you to the wrong place. So the only thing that you're worried about, the only thing you should be worried about is your tutorial. So that's why it's streamlined. It's much easier to create a tutorial right now. It's easier to review. You don't have to worry about CSS. You don't have to worry about sites. You don't have to worry about the time it takes for your tutorial to work. Okay, that's it. Let's make it work. As a final part on this tutorial, which is getting long, I know, there is something very, very optional that you can do, but only if you are creating a tutorial that you think may get contributors, or you want to show it working online. Let's say you're working on one of the main packages and it's a big tutorial, and I mean, it's a good idea to have a preview. And that's one of the limitations in this idea, to have a preview of the repository. That specific repository needs to have a Netlify account. I wanted to do it in an automated way, but I could not find any way to do it. Let me know if you know of a better idea. If you go to the workflow here and you find the deploy.yml, you're gonna see that there are two places that are commented related to preview. The first one is this thing, and the second one is this thing. So when you make a pull request, ideally what you want is a preview of the website. If you're not making pull requests and you don't expect to have pull requests to your website, your tutorial, that's it. But as I said, for the main packages, this might be a good idea. First thing that you need to uncomment this and uncomment this. Now, if you look here, you're gonna see that it asks for a site, previews website, and it's a missing.netlify, which of course is not what we want. And also it's gonna build to a specific place, which doesn't matter. Here is just pushing things, it doesn't really matter. But the Netlify thing is what's hard and important. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Netlify, my personal Netlify account, which you can build. It's free. I don't remember exactly what I needed, but anyway, I do this for a few websites, as you can see. You're gonna import the start, I don't remember, import an existing, yeah, you're gonna import an existing project from GitHub. Is gonna say, hey, can I do it? You have to authorize, and you say yes, of course. You're gonna set your user, in my case JSOdocs, and you're gonna say this page. Which branch you're gonna deploy? Actually, the branch should be GH preview, but there is no GH preview yet. So you need to make first push to GH preview. That's one of the things you have to remember. Don't change anything, deploy site. And that's it, you have the site online. Okay, well, it will be online eventually. This is the name of the site, Pensive Panini, which by the way is a great name. But you can change the site name. For instance, understanding tutorial, or you can say something like JSO docs understanding.netlify.app and save. And that's it. This is the site now. If I click here, this is, as I said, this is building from the GH pages. So it's exactly the same as the GitHub pages, right? Doesn't make any difference. But for previews, it needs to build from a different branch. So the idea here is that you have to make a pull request, and then it's going to create a branch, and then you go back to Netlify or go to Netlify for the first time, and then you create your hook so that it builds the repository. After all that, you have to find the link, which I forgot to add, but there is a place, not this one. There is a place using Netlify that you can copy. And the place is the main page. There is a new workflow that you can use, which the workflow PR comment. And this is essentially saying when the deploy build ends, it sends me, or the one making a pull request, a link, which is something like this one, JSON/PR, the name of the GitHub event, for instance, PR4. This is the preview for a website in some point in time. So that's it. That's what you're going to have. You're going to have essentially a site in a different place that builds your preview and you can show in your pull request. That's usually not required unless something that you do is very hard to understand. This is advanced stuff. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on building tutorials. I will be very grateful if you could contribute with a tutorial, a blog post, or whatever. I really think we should push on the usage of JSO. We have a lot of good things here, and I know people are missing out on some of the many great things we have. Okay, so that's it. Hope to see you soon and have a great year. Bye-bye.